Hello everyone. In today's video, I want to bring you an answer to a question I've received so many times. And that question is this: why am I not lucky in life? A lot of people ask me this. Someone even told me, I'm 70 years old now, but I've never been lucky in my life at all. Well, I was just joking about the 70 part. It's not usually that extreme. But I do often get questions like, I'm 30 years old and I've never really felt any sense of good fortune in love, in work, or in my career. Honestly, I hear that a lot, and 30 is still a little early. There are plenty of people in their 40s or 50s who share with me that they feel their lives have never been touched by any big stroke of luck. They've never had that kind of opportunity where, boom, their life suddenly changes, blossoms, and takes off. Instead, their lives just keep going up and down, back and forth, never really steady. For many people, luck feels like such a luxury, especially the big kind of luck, the kind tied to money, career, or major opportunities. So, is there something hidden here? Is there a mistake somewhere? Is there something that people who don't experience much luck are failing to see? I believe there is. And today, I'm going to share with you, not from theory, but from my own experience, my own observations and my own learning in life. I'm going to give you some answers, and we're going to go straight into the question in our title. Why aren't you lucky in life? And could there be a big mistake behind it? I'll answer this question directly, but not with some dry definition. Instead, I'll use a story, a vivid example. I'm confident this will be the easiest and clearest way for you to understand the core reason, why you feel unlucky in life. So let's dive into that example, and let me warn you in advance. At first, it may seem unrelated. But stay with me all the way through. I've prepared this carefully. I'm sure that once you hear the whole thing, you'll get it. Now, imagine this. Two soccer teams are playing against each other. Don't worry if you're not into soccer, just listen along. We'll call them Team A and Team B. A full match is 90 minutes, and by the 85th minute, neither side has scored. It's still 0-0. At this point, Team A is the stronger side, so in the last few minutes, they're attacking Team B over and over. Relentless pressure. Shot after shot after shot, but nothing goes in. So frustrating. By the 85th minute, still no goal. The 86th, still no goal. The 87th, 88th, 89th, still nothing. But then something miraculous happens. In the 90th minute, a player from Team A kicks the ball, and it hits the hand of a Team B player inside the penalty box. And as you know, in soccer, if the ball hits the hand of a defender inside the penalty box, it's a penalty kick, 11 meters. Oh my gosh, what luck! The whole 90 minutes, not a single goal. Then suddenly, in the very last moment, the other side makes a mistake, and Team A gets a penalty. Team A steps up, takes the shot, scores. Boom. 1-0. They win the match. And let's say this was the final match. They win the championship. What incredible luck, right? At the very last second, they get a penalty kick. Just one moment of luck, and glory rains down on them. They become champions, all because of one tiny instant of fortune. That's luck. You see it, right? But now let me ask you this. What if Team A had never attacked? What if they just stayed back on their own side of the field, lying down, taking a nap? No attacking, no pressing, no moving forward. Would that penalty kick have ever happened? Of course not. That penalty kick was luck, yes. It fell from the sky, yes. But it came as a result of pressure, of effort, of relentless attack. If Team A had just sat back doing nothing, there would never have been a penalty in the first place. And that's the real question we should be asking. Not just how do I get lucky, but what creates luck in the first place? This is the difference between people who feel unlucky their entire lives and people who seem to experience luck again and again. They don't understand this. What gives birth to luck? People who never get lucky truly believe luck is just something that falls from the sky while they do nothing. Like winning the lottery, or like sitting around day after day without upgrading themselves, without improving, without moving forward, just sitting there wishing, I wish I'd get lucky and become a manager. I wish I'd get lucky and become a boss. I wish I'd get lucky and become a millionaire. But if that's how you dream, how is that any different from playing soccer, lying down on your side of the field, and expecting to win? 1-0 or 3-0? Do you feel like something's off here? That's the root of it, my friends. That's the reason. Each of us has to understand what actually creates luck. And for me, when I reflect on it, I see two factors that truly give birth to luck. Listen carefully here, because this is important. There are two factors. First, you have to know how to play the game. The game in which you want luck to appear, you need to actually know how to play it. Even better, be good at it. And second, you have to play with persistence. Play for the long run. If you have those two things, then luck will find its way to you. But if you don't, if you just think luck is something that falls from the sky by itself, then I'm afraid your entire life may pass without you ever really experiencing luck. Back to the soccer example. Those two elements I just mentioned, they were so obvious in that match, right? First, they knew how to play and played well. And second, they kept pressing, kept persisting. Because they attacked and didn't give up, the opportunity eventually showed up. That's it. Simple as that, right? So from this first example, I want you to really hold on to this formula of how luck is born. 1, you have to know how to play the game and play it well. 2, you have to play long-term with persistence. Those who do that, luck will come to them. But never fall into the second group, the group that can't even answer the question. What creates luck? These are the people who live as if they're playing soccer, lying down in their own half, not even wanting to kick the ball, and yet still hoping to win. And the sad thing is that mindset is everywhere in life. That's what's truly unfortunate, so please remember this clearly. Now, you've just heard a metaphor, an illustration of why life might not feel lucky for you. And the reason is, you've fallen into a major mistake. You haven't answered the core question. What creates luck? I hope that imaginary soccer match helped make the idea clearer for you. But now, after imagination, we have to come back to real life, right? And in my talks, in my videos, I always like to use real-life examples. Examples that many of you actually care about. So let's ask, what do people care most about when it comes to luck? Money, right? The game of making money. Of course, there are many ways to make money in life. I'm only talking about honest ways here, and you'd agree. There are plenty of them. You can earn money by working a job, especially if you're in an important position. You can earn money by running an offline business. You can earn money online. You can even make money selling vegetables and fruit. Right? You can make money as an athlete, as a singer, as a music producer. There are countless paths to earning. And luck appears in every single one of these fields, especially for those who earn a lot. So to make this simple, let's group it all together, no matter what career you're in, and just call it one thing, the game of making money. So here's the question. How do you get lucky in the game of making money? If your salary right now is $2,000, how do you get lucky and make it $20,000? Where's the luck? Why do I never seem to find luck? That's what many people complain about, but do you remember the formula? The two critical factors for creating luck, no matter what you're doing? 1. You must know how to play the game. In this case, the money-making game. 2. You must play it long-term, with persistence. Now let's break these down. Knowing how to play the game and playing it well, that's an absolutely essential factor. But sadly, many people aren't even aware of it. And here's the hard truth I see in real life. Many people fail simply because they're not skilled enough. Sometimes the reason is that simple. You lose because you don't measure up yet. Someone else is sitting in the very seat you were aiming for, and they're doing it better than you. But what's strange is you see them win, and you still believe you're better than they are. That's where something is off. Let me be real with you. Here's a concrete example. Say your dream is to become a successful Android developer. You want to create an Android app, publish it on Google Play, and have about 50,000 downloads. That would be a decent success, right? That's your goal. But maybe you haven't achieved it yet. And when you look at someone who has done it, thoughts creep into your mind. That guy's app isn't even that great, but it's got a million downloads. You're just lucky, man. You're lucky. But me? I'm not lucky at all. I'm unlucky, even though I'm just as good as you. Sound familiar? This is how so many people think. But don't think like that, my friends. Please don't. Because we always have to ask ourselves this question: what comes before luck? And there are two things that always come before luck. First, you have to be really good at the game. Second, you have to be persistent. So, what does it mean to be good at the game? Let's stick with the example of building an Android app. Are you really good at it? And what does good mean here? Step 1. You have to be technically good. You need to have the ability to actually code a high-quality app. That's the first step. Hopefully, you've already passed that step. But is that enough? Not yet. Because if you just code one app, please don't rush to upload it right away. Don't put it on Google Play if you want to become a successful Android developer with thousands of users. Why? Because knowing programming skills alone is not enough. If you only know how to code, then all you'll have is an app that maybe your friends, family, cousins, brothers, sisters, and kids will use. That's it. Don't upload it yet. Because the truth is, once it's on Google Play, no one will even see it. No one will download it. Why would they? There are millions of apps out there, and yours is just one tiny app in that ocean. How would people even know it exists? So if all you know is coding, that doesn't mean you know how to play the game. Don't confuse the two. What else do you need to know? You need to know how to market your app on the App Store. You need to know about App Store optimization, and you need to be good at it. You need to understand online marketing, and you need to be good at that too. You also need design skills, because sometimes you can code an app beautifully on the back end, but if the art, the visuals, the interface look terrible, nobody will want to use it. So you need to know that as well. And here I'm talking as if you're an independent developer. Of course, if you're a company, the story looks a little different. But you see my point, right? Even from this short list, you can see you have to know a lot. And that's still not everything. You also need market research skills. You need to be able to create something that people actually want and need. That's market research. Build something useful, and then you have a chance to succeed. So when I say know how to play the game, that means you've mastered all of this, not just one little piece. If you only know one tiny part, it's going to be hard. Really hard. You won't be able to compete with others. Maybe you're really good at one thing, say, just coding. But someone else is good at 5 or 10 skills, and this game requires 5 or 10 skills. So how are you going to compete? You'll lose. And then you'll spend your whole life saying, I'm just unlucky. That's exactly why you feel unlucky. So if you want to play the game and hope for luck, the first factor is you must be good at the game. And second, even being good isn't enough. You have to stick with it. Play long term. Be persistent, because nobody succeeds in just 1 or 2 steps. You have to keep at it. You might fail the first time. Then you try again the second time. Then you try again the third time. And maybe on the 4th time, suddenly it explodes. It takes off. Persistence. That's it. One day, out of nowhere, maybe the simplest app you've built, something you don't even think is special, suddenly it booms. It goes viral. Everyone knows about it. Life is strange that way. But understand this. Those kinds of lucky breaks never come out of thin air. They're always the result of those 2 factors I just shared. You must remember this. If your life doesn't feel lucky, it's because you don't yet have those 2 ingredients of luck. It's just like soccer. You have to keep attacking again and again, relentlessly. Only then, if you're lucky, you might get a penalty. Or if you're lucky, the opponent might score an own goal. But if you just sit there, doing nothing, how can luck ever show up? Now, let's get even more specific. Let's talk about other areas where people feel unlucky. For example, love. Why do so many people feel unlucky in love? Sure, some people will say it's fate or destiny, I'm not going to dive into spirituality here. I just want to share what I've observed in real life from the people around me who we might call unlucky in love. And what I see is this. Their bad luck in love still comes down to the same two factors. Here's the biggest mistake. People think that just following instinct in love is enough. But from what I've seen, if you bring a little bit of wisdom, or better yet, a lot of wisdom, into it, things go so much better. Because what is human instinct? Greed, jealousy, anger, right? Who doesn't have those things? And if you just let instinct run wild, then those traits get big. They grow unchecked. You become short-tempered, easily irritated, always saying things like, I'm just being myself. I got angry because that's just my instinct, but deep down, I'm a good person. I'm greedy, but that's just instinct too. Deep down, I'm good. But if you don't bring wisdom into it, wisdom that helps you restrain those instincts, improve yourself, and move towards something better, then honestly, who would want to love you? If you're too selfish, who's going to love you? That's why luck and love still comes down to the same two factors. First, you have to know how to play the game. And second, you have to be patient. Now, when I use the word game here, I'm putting it in quotation marks. It's just a way of speaking to make the conversation feel more lighthearted and approachable. Please don't misunderstand me. I don't mean to reduce something as important as love or career into just a game. Not at all. The first factor is this: play the game well. And the second factor is patience. So what does it mean to play well? How strong is your emotional capacity? How deep is your ability to understand, empathize, and be sincere? Sometimes people have zero ability in these areas. They go through decades of life and still don't know how to truly share with others. That makes love very difficult. That's something you have to learn. And there's another point. Let's be honest. You can't love well if you're struggling with basic survival. If you and your partner are both hungry, it's going to be tough. You need to take care of your career, your finances, and at the same time, you need to be able to face and handle each other's flaws. All of these things are skills. They have to be learned. Actually, in the episode before this one, I talked about two key concepts. And in that episode, I mentioned some of the essential skills, not just in love, but in career and other areas of life too. Playing the game doesn't mean you'll never fail, but it dramatically reduces the chances of failure. Dramatically. And when you get good at this game, you naturally become someone others are drawn to. You'll stop saying things like, I just have bad luck in love. That complaint will disappear. I'm serious. You'll still experience hardship. You'll still feel joy and pain, sadness and happiness. But your understanding of all those experiences will be deep, not shallow complaints, not blaming bad luck. Real depth. So that's the first factor, playing well. The second one? Patience. Because on day one, day two, no matter how much you've learned, you'll still stumble. Some days you'll remember to apply what you've learned. Some days you'll forget. And if you don't have the patience to keep going, that wisdom you worked so hard for will fade away. Just like when you stop going to the gym. No matter how fit your body is now, if you don't keep working out, the muscles will soften. I've said this before, right? And it applies to everything. If you want to be lucky, you have to keep going, keep going, keep going. That's when luck shows up. A flower can't bloom instantly. It starts as a seed, grows into a plant, buds, and only then blossoms. Everything takes time. Patience is just another way of talking about time. You can't force something to ripen before it's time. Now, take an office worker who wants success. The same two factors apply. You want luck in your career? First ask, are you playing the game well? The game of building trust with others? The game of relationships? The game of communication? The game of doing your job really, really well? The game of demonstrating competence? You have to play all of these well, because if you're strong in one or two areas but weak in 7 or 8 others, how can you expect rewards? Workplaces are competitive. Only one person gets that promotion, but maybe 10, 20 people are aiming for the same spot. The ratio could be 1 in 20. And who does the manager choose? The person they see as the best fit. Why would they favor you if you're not ready? Why would they feel sorry for you? They won't. So managers won't change. It's us who have to adapt, to align with their perspective if we want to move forward. Otherwise, we'll need to look elsewhere. That's why you must play the game really well. Identify what the specific game in your company requires and then master those factors. And honestly, I've already listed most of them. Earning your boss's trust, building competence, communicating well, handling relationships, managing conflicts, these things can all be learned. But if you're clueless or careless, you won't survive. If you're truly ambitious and you want to be lucky, if you want to rise, you have to learn. And after you've learned and gotten good, even then, it's still not enough. You have to wait. Patiently. Because sometimes timing matters. Say you want to be a manager? Well, the current manager has to move up before that seat is open. You can't expect them to be fired just so you can take their place. That's ridiculous. And if you're too impatient, you'll be restless and insecure. The same applies to being an investor. The same applies to making YouTube videos. The same applies to opening a coffee shop. Whatever it is, luck always comes back to those two factors. Play the game well and be patient. You need to understand this deeply. Otherwise, it's so easy to think you're just unlucky. So this episode has been all about luck, and I hope that by now you've seen that there's a formula behind it. Just a fun way of putting it, a formula for creating luck, producing luck. And I really believe this formula is solid. It's not mystical, not vague, not based on chance. Even though we're talking about creating luck, there's actually no randomness here at all. That's what makes it powerful. And I hope each of you takes something positive away from today's episode. If you did, that's enough to make me happy. And honestly, one thing already makes me happy right now. If you've stayed with me all the way to this moment, that means you've given me your time. I deeply appreciate that. Truly, from the bottom of my heart. There are so many videos on YouTube right now, and the fact that you've chosen to sit and listen to me until the very end of this one. Well, that makes me feel lucky today. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. All right, that's where we'll pause for now. Goodbye, and I'll see you again in the next episode.